no school to worry about, freedom from just about everything, fun for family and friends, and so on, and vacations and everything else. All the summers I can remember up until this one fit this description. Things, however, changed for me in 1997. I could tell from the start of the summer that it wouldn't be anything like my previous ones. Things weren't going too well. My parents hadn't been seeing eye to eye, and I started fighting a lot. I didn't want to believe it, but I could sense where it was all headed, and they ended up getting divorced. Although I was just 7 years old at the time, I can recall the entire event vividly. I remember being scared about what was going to happen and what it all meant for me. I really didn't know what else to think. It's definitely not something any young child should have to go through. My mom, my sister, and I were forced to live with my grandparents for several weeks until it was decided who got to keep the house. This in itself was an entire new experience for me, just the fact that I wouldn't be staying in my house for a little while. Eventually, my dad moved out, got his own place, and my mom was able to keep our house. However, I knew the situation would be tough on us all, especially my mom, as she was forced to raise both my sister and me by herself. Things began to take a turn for the better in 2002. My mom began to date my neighbor, who lived just 2 doors down from us, which I thought was rather ironic because I'd barely ever seen them talk before. Everything happened really quick, it seemed. In 2005, we decided to sell our house and move in with him. 1 year later, they got married. I was okay with the concept of us moving because it was only 2 doors down, so I wasn't scared, like I didn't have to move, change schools or anything, so I wasn't upset from that standpoint. But I was a little uneasy, however, moving into a house with a guy who I barely knew, I barely talked to, let alone knew very well. I wasn't sure how my stepdad would be either. I didn't know how my personal decisions would be influenced by him. I didn't know if he would be easygoing, if he would try to take authority over me, tell me what to do, act like my real dad, or what it'd be like, so I was a little nervous going into the whole new situation. But I was pretty much left with no choice but to try to ease myself into it, so I figured I'd make the best of it. Things definitely turned out better than I had expected. The transition went really well, actually. And in 4 years since we moved, I can't say I haven't encountered any real problems with him. So I know I'm not the only one who's been through this situation. I can't speak for everyone who has been, but I can say it's definitely given me a different attitude when I'm facing new challenges, situations that I'm not used to. I've come to realize that there's no reason for me to be apprehensive and just let everything work itself out. Everything usually happens for a reason, and now when I do encounter situations I'm unsure of, I just think to myself, what's the absolute worst that can happen? Thank you.